Hello, I'm Sayakat Cosplay and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a makeup tutorial. I'm going to be doing the makeup for Spirit Blossom Ahri for her Fox version, so this is the new skin. And I'm going to go ahead and do my makeup and show you how I do it and all the products that I use. And so let's go ahead and start this makeup. First, I'm going to be blocking out my eyebrows. To do this, I'm just using a washable school glue, Elmer's glue stick. This is like those, purple glue sticks. I'm going to go ahead and block my eyebrows out. I'm not an expert on blocking out brows, so if you need a tutorial on blocking out brows, this is not the tutorial for you. I'm going to show you how I do it, but there's people who do it much better than I do. I'm going to just kind of start to smear it in there. And you want to get a nice thick layer of glue into the brow. If you have thicker brow hairs than I do, you're going to want to probably use a spoolie to get the glue all up in the hairs. But I don't have really thick or really dark brows. I'm fairly lucky in that department when it comes to covering up brows. So I'm just going to go ahead and get as much glue in there as possible. It's going to take probably 2 to 3 layers of glue to get my brows to be glued down. You don't have to block out your brows. If you don't want to, you can leave your brows in before the makeup look. But I have a pretty narrow eyelid space, so to give myself a little bit more room to play, I'm going to block out my brows. And also actually doesn't look like she has brows on this skin. She has a pink detail which kind of stands in for her brows. So I'm blocking them out just to kind of give myself a little bit more freedom with the makeup. Alright, I'm going to have to let that dry for a little while. And once it's dry, I'm going to do a second layer and then let it dry. And then if I need to, do a third layer and let it dry. And then cover it with powder. I'm going to be doing my eye makeup before my base, since the base is going to be white. I don't want any fallout from the really colorful eyes. So I'm going to do my eyes first and then do foundation on the rest of my face. If you would like your eyebrows to dry faster, get yourself a hairdryer and put it on low and aim it at your face. Alright, so first layer of glue is dry, so I'm going to go ahead and stick on that second layer. Now that the glue is dry, I'm going to be using the Mercier, I already opened this, translucent setting powder. Yeah, I'm going to be using the Mercier translucent setting powder to fill in any little nooks and crannies in the brows. So after you glue, it's pretty important to powder heavily, because that powder fills in a lot of little nooks and crannies. That makes it kind of, there still might be hair texture. So this kind of lets you know how well you did with the glue and just kind of fills in little tiny little divots. You get that powder all up in there. I'm going to sweep the excess off with a large fluffy brush. And this is the foundation that I'm going to be using for this look. This is the RCMA, the Research Council of Makeup Artists. This is an actual white foundation. This is in the color Porcelain. This is actually the foundation that was made for the Queen Amidala makeup for the prequels for Star Wars. And this is the same foundation that I used on my Magda makeup when I did Magda. And it doesn't look white in the pan. I mean, it looks fairly white, but it kind of looks a little porcelain, a little peachy. When you actually put it on the face, it's very, very white. So I'm going to take a little bit of that on the end of a beauty blender. And it is a fairly creamy foundation, and it is buildable. If you want to use white face paint or your regular foundation color, that's totally fine. I have this white foundation. I have it. I'm going to use it. So that's what I'm going to be using. What's real fun about this white foundation is it's actually not that far off from my actual skin tone. So this is a very graphic eye look, and it's really only 2 colors and there's really no blending. What I'm actually going to be doing is using a lip pencil, because I don't have any pink eyeliner pencils, but I have a pink lip pencil. This is from Sephora. This is in the color Cashmere Pink. I'm going to be using this lip pencil slash eyeliner to trace out the shape of where I want the pink to go, and then fill it in with the lip liner eyeliner. And then I'm going to go over it with a pink shadow to set the product, because this is a cream product and I'm going to need to powder it to set it. The pink actually extends onto the nose and then a little bit down below the eye. And it's pretty visible on the lid, so you're going to want to make sure you actually go a little bit above your natural crease. Just going to outline the general shape of this pink, and it comes up off the corner of the eye at, I would say, about a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to bring it to a point. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and repeat that on the other eye. Now that I have the pink mapped out on both eyes, I'm going to go ahead and fill it in with the Festival by Juvia's Place palette. I'm using the color Eerie G from that palette, this pink here. On camera, it's pretty corally, but in person, this is actually like a really hot, hot pink. So I'm going to take that on a fluffy brush and start packing that on the lid. For the edges of the eye look, for the tips of the wing, I'm going to be using an angled brush slash a small detail brush to get the pink up into the corners and the edges, and to clean, make sure that the edges are nice and clean. Alrighty, I have packed on that pigment, and now I'm going to go ahead and start to map out the blue sections. And you can also see I've feathered out the corners a little bit. I decided I'm going to feather the colors out and back a little bit and not make it as sharp of a line going back towards the forehead. So for the blue, I'm going to be using a blue eye pencil. This is a shiny, chunky eyeshadow eye pencil in the color Azure, so it's actually a very light blue. Her eye look is a very like cerulean, lighter blue color, so if you have a light blue eyeshadow pencil, that works really well. And then I'm going to go in with, I'm going to go back in again with eyeshadow to get the color closer to that really bright cerulean blue, and you know, fill in for the set. I'm going to set the pencil down. So she has blue under the eye and over the pink. So starting from probably about the little left of center, a little off of center, start mapping out where the blue is going to be. I changed my mind. I'm going to be continuing on with this Ofra eyeliner in the color turquoise. The other eyeliner, that other eye pencil just wasn't cutting it. So I'm not tight lining my eye with this color because she does look like she has black tight lining and black and a little bit of shading around the corners of the eye. Just to give her, I think, her eye a little bit more depth, and I think that's what the art looks like. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. Alright, I'm going to be using another angled brush and another small flat packing brush to pack on the blue shadow. Again, I'm going to be using the Festival palette by Juvia's Place. I'm going to be using this blue called Abba to fill in that blue color. Now, if you don't have these exact shades, just a pink and a blue will do, but you're going to want to have a blue that's more of a cerulean blue and a pretty bright hot pink color. Now you might be asking yourself, you did the lower lash line before you did your foundation. I know. I'm going to be going back in and very carefully doing my foundation around the eyes and having to probably redo a little bit of the shadow as necessary to kind of make sure that I get the foundation right up against the eyeshadow. If you feel more comfortable doing your foundation first and then doing the shadow, that's totally fine. This is just how I'm doing the makeup and how I'm comfortable doing the makeup. The reason that I'm doing the eyes completely first is that I have used the white RCMA foundation before, and I've found that if you put it on and then put any eye makeup on and you get any fallout, that it doesn't clean up off the makeup very well. So I'm going to be doing all the eyes and everything with the eyes first and then going back in and doing the foundation. I'm also going to be using this fluffy brush to make sure that there's no gap in the color between the pink and the blue. So it's going to ever so slightly blend the blue into the pink. It doesn't actually make it purple or anything. It just kind of fuzzes out the edges a little bit on the blue so that there's no this like weird skin gaps in between the colors. Just ever so gently blending those two together. Oh, we're getting somewhere. Okay, I'm going to be using the Berries palette by Juvia's Place. I might be obsessed with Juvia's Place. I'm going to be using these two darker shadows to darken down the corner and kind of smoke the pink out a little bit. On another fluffy brush, I'm going to be taking the lighter of the two darker shades and getting that into the corner. Just small circular motions to get that pigment to deposit. I don't actually know the names of these colors from the Berries palette. They don't have the names right on the front, and they're probably on the back, but I'm too lazy to look. Now I'm going to take that darker color and with just soft patting motions work that into the corner and the crease. Instead of doing a dark eyeliner, what I'm going to do is get all my brushes in my lap. On the small detail brush, I'm actually going to take that darker color from the Berries palette and use that as sort of a liner situation. Now I'm going to tightline the lower lash line. This is just a regular black cream pencil from London. I make the weirdest faces when I tightline. If you don't know what tightlining is, it means lining the piece of the eyelid that actually kind of hits your eye. If you don't feel comfortable tightlining, if you've never done it before, don't worry about it. It just makes the whole bottom lash line look black. Alright, tightlined. Now it actually looks like she has a little bit of white liner at the very inner corner, so I'm going to take this white liner in Yayo from Urban Decay. It's actually a white sparkly liner, and just go right underneath the pink and the inner corner of my eyelid. Alright, I'm going to take some mascara and put mascara on both the top and bottom lashes, and then pop on some lashes. Alright, I'm going to pop on some House of Lashes Iconics. These are my favorite lashes. I'm going to be using the House of Lashes glue with these lashes. And these lashes fit my face really, really well. They are my favorite. They fit my eye shape, they fit my face shape. These, I believe, are like 12 bucks, and you can use them multiple times. So even though they're a little bit more expensive than your average drugstore lashes, I do prefer using them over other types of lashes. And you're gonna want to let the glue dry for about a minute before you pop these on. Now, it doesn't actually look like she has lashes in the art or the character model, but I just put lashes on when I'm doing a lot of makeup, so it's kind of natural for me to put lashes on. You don't want to do lashes and you think just, you know, this is fine, that's totally cool. But for me, if I'm doing cosplay makeup, lashes are kind of necessary and kind of a thing that I always put on, no matter what. So even if a character doesn't look like they have lashes, I will put lashes on. Sometimes if it really doesn't look like they have lashes, I'll put on a more natural lash rather than something big like this. But I always put lashes on. Alright, lashes are on. Now, if you have a makeup look like this where it doesn't actually use any liner and you feel like the lash band is sticking out a little bit too much or a little bit too noticeable, a little trick that you can do is take a little bit of liner and just go over the top of the lash band and basically extend the lash band out a little tiny bit with liner to kind of camouflage it into your natural lash line. Alright, now it's time for the rest of the face. So I'm going to prime my face with a little bit of Smashbox Photo Finish Radiance Primer. You can prime your face with whatever primer you have. Just always make sure to put primer on before you put foundation down. This helps to fill in pores, helps your foundation to stick to your face, and it's just a good idea overall to prime your face before you put foundation down. Now it's time for foundation. Like earlier when I was putting the foundations on my brows to blend them in, I'm using the RCMA foundation in porcelain, and I'm gonna put that all over. Using a beauty blender, a damp beauty blender, to pounce this into the skin. And when we get close to the eyes, I'm going to be using the detail pointed end of the beauty blender to get close to the eye. Now if you're using face paint, basically it's the same thing. You're just going to paint your face white. If you prefer, like I said earlier, to do the foundation or face paint before you do the eyes, go ahead and do that. This is just the direction that I went with the application, and like I said, what I was comfortable doing. Kind of hard for me to believe that there's a foundation that's paler than I am, because I am very pale, but it's paler than I am. I am going to foundation over my lips because she has a pretty drawn in, small looking mouth. Oh, I'm just going to foundation over the lips. And also make sure to bring the paint or the foundation down your neck. She does have a painted décolletage, so you're going to need to make sure to bring that down all the way. I'm only going to go down my neck, probably to about my collarbone, a little bit below, because that's where the pink marking on her neck is. So I'm not going to be doing the whole chest, but I will bring it down the neck onto the top of the chest so that I can draw on that marking. Alright, now that foundation is done, I'm going to powder and set all of the foundation. I'm going to be contouring with blush. I'm going to be contouring with pink. If you try and contour with a normal contour color, you're going to look muddy or washed out or gray. So contouring with a pink color is probably the best option and what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be using the Tarte blush in the color Parté. This is a very pale pink blush, and I'm going to take that on for my cheeks and take that on a blush brush. And just, it's going to add a little bit of color back to my face, a little bit of depth back to my face. Use that to contour right along under the cheekbone. And I'm going to take that on a flat brush along the nose as well. Okay, I'm going to be highlighting the high points of my face with this Huda Beauty highlight palette. I'll be using the color Santorini, this white. Since it's a very pale makeup, I'm going with a very pale highlighter. Where's my highlighting? Ah, highlighter. The very tip of my nose, I actually like to take a little bit of highlighter on my finger and go poof. If you don't have this particular highlighting palette, which you probably don't, you can just use any white highlighter that you might have, or white shimmer eyeshadow that you might have. Okay, now comes the fun or not fun part, which is drawing on all of the markings that she has on her face. I'm using that same pink pencil to start to draw on the whisker lines and the kind of pink eyebrow shapes that she has. Just remember that eyebrows are sisters, not twins, so if they don't quite perfectly match, that's a-okay. I'm pretty sure mine are not going to match. Start from the corner and slowly figure out where the shape goes. Okay, now I need to set those down and solidify those with the eyeshadow. Okay, now I'm going to be doing the same thing as the eyebrows with her whisker markings on her face. And they actually come pretty close into the eye. And last but not least, I'm going to draw on the marking on her neck and décolletage. Now, remember, if you're drawing in a mirror, you're drawing backwards. So, go the opposite direction of the mirror. Ta-da! Last but not least is lips. She has a pretty small drawn-on mouth. You can use the same lip liner that you've been using on the face to draw in where the lips go. Just bring my lips together to smear it a little bit so it's not like super delineated as just a line. I'm going to take the NYX Liquid Suede in the color Tea and Cookies and put that over the liner. So this is a liquid lipstick. I'm just going to take my finger and pat the edges. That kind of takes it and blends it out into the makeup that's on the lips. Alright, it's time to set the face, slap a wig and some ears on, and show you the finished look. Well, thanks so much for watching. This is the final look. If you have any questions about this look or products that I used, please leave a comment down below, and don't forget to hit that like button and also that subscribe button. Alrighty guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.